Sorry to anyone listening, I do make a lot of sniffling noises, so yeah. This is just the beginning of the stream though, I guess no one's here yet though. Oh yeah, it's just lighting thing. I thought this here, this little spot here, I thought that was a sign. I was like, what the hell is there a sign doing there? I'm not usually using the shaders, I'm just using it right now to show off, basically, like make it look nicer, since I'm presenting the map. Oh yeah, it's on a bit of a delay. Not too bad, about like a few seconds, maybe like 5 seconds delay. That's not too bad. That's pretty manageable. And honestly, it's to be expected, probably, given that this is going, so it's Minecraft, then through third-party streaming thing, and then that sends it to YouTube, then YouTube processes it and puts stops. So that's not too bad, actually. And sure, I wish it were not like that, but that's honestly not that bad. Okay. Oh, just put that there. It's kind of hard to use this as a YouTube thing. I'll be perfectly honest. I'm trying to put this thing down. I don't. Where's our? That's good. That's good enough. And no one's joined yet. No one has joined yet. But that is fine. Shouldn't be long. Whenever she is good to go. Whenever Michael is too. You know, terraforming is kind of like tedious. It's probably the most tedious part. This is the easier bit of it, because this is not the edge of the island. The edge of the island is absolutely miserable. It's terrible. It's absolutely terrible to work on, and I made it a bit easier with some stuff in World Edit, but it's still a nasty job and a large amount of work. That's going to be the bulk of the work, I think. I'm kind of breaking it into chunks and doing it little bits at a time so I don't get really burnt out, because it will burn me out pretty fast doing the edge of the island, because it's very steep cliffs and you get tired of trying to make them look okay really quickly. You gotta smooth it out really nicely, and there's a lot of placing blocks in bulk, but it's not even in a convenient way like this where it's a small area. You have to like place like 50 blocks vertically in a row, like you're building off the side of a cliff, trying to make it look natural instead of just a clean cutoff. And that just, I don't like that. I'm starting to think at this point maybe I can smooth this out instead. Bring this down instead of making this steeper and steeper. It shouldn't have to get much steeper, honestly. It's pretty good where it is. But I haven't made a lot of progress there. It's pretty good. It's looking better and better. And I'm going to do that just because it's makes it easier to see. Obviously. With shaders, it gets a lot darker, even though I've meddled with the settings a fair bit. Okay. gonna be going down at about that rate from here out, I think. It's tricky doing how I try and do more natural looking paths. It's tricky to do down hills. I've found it's really irritating actually. And another stairs there. So that's much more good gradual incline or decline. I don't know. Depends on which way you're looking at it, I guess. And do something like that there. There, that's pretty good. And yeah, not too much further to go. We still got nobody. I can't even tell now. That did the thing. That is not a helpful pop-up. Thank you though, Google. I appreciate your attempt. Yeah, okay, it says one watching. Okay, so I left the mic on. I meant to mute it when I left the room, but that did not happen. I apparently unmuted it. Does that mean I was muted that whole time? God damn it. Hi Drew. I'm assuming you're the one watching. You can type in the journal channel in Discord to reply if you want to. But I don't know if you have that open. If your internet shit, you might just have like this open. You can type into the chat here. Oh, there. All right, now I've checked the chat there. All right. Hi. Yay. Just in time for me to have already realized. Don't worry, you can just talk in the YouTube chat. That's probably much easier, huh? Alright. Right, so there's someone here now. Yay! Let's see. Yeah, I'm gonna sneakily move back to somewhere that's a good place to start without actually like showing you everything. How are you doing, by the way? I forgot to put away that crafting table. Okay, so I'm gonna start probably up over here. I think that's a good place to start. Right. Oh, I forgot about this. Look at the mini-me. Ooh, who is literally Tristan Zara? Who is this? Yep, mini Tris. Look at the baby. Janet! Hello, Janet. I love you. I love you too, Drew. You're both so amazing. Alright. Hello. Just so you know, it is a bit lagged. So you won't be getting exactly real time. I've noticed it's a bit delayed. You're amazing too. And I'll literally fight you don't if you don't explicitly agree with me. Okay. So I'm gonna start the tour. Kind of start here. This is my house on basically, so like when I was first getting into Minecraft, um I only played like on one server. I didn't even do much single player worlds. I was basically just on. You sure will accept it. I was basically just on the Reddit Minecraft server, which was actually a really nice little community. Uh, that like I never really had any problems with. I got griefed like once, just once, and it got reported and dealt with like right away. Um, Actually, it happened a second time, but that was because I was off for like several months. Um, but it's been lovely. And this is my house in the 20th revision. I joined on the 7th revision, and I was pretty active on revision 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 14, 18, 19, 20, and 22. 20 and 22 were my most active revisions, which is basically where they reset the whole world, right? So that you have more space to build. Um, right, so it's reset. So all the same people come back generally. Some, like, won't be there for a revision or two, because it happens. But it's just basically a chance to start fresh because eventually you get bored, of the same world after like several months of everyone playing on it. So this was the house from my 20th revision. From the 20th revision, I've got a pansexual flag here. The carpet. Yep, I got mini me. Got a little cake. Upstairs, I had a painting here that was of Life is Strange. I did like pixel art and made a map for it, but it didn't carry over with this for obvious reasons because it's a totally different world. That's a lamp. That's a GameCube. There's my bed. Some cool heads. They're cool. And down here was my massive storage. I still have to make this into something more fitting the actual map's theme. I've done a bit of work changing things. I had so much stuff, man. That was probably my busiest revision. Um, what was? Oh yeah. I remember where the secret was. Here. Okay. Here we go. Oh wait, what did that open? Oh yeah, right here. So I had a little spot down here where I had cobble storage, sending, and all like the special stuff. They did like special collectibles and stuff. That was pretty fun. All that and secret maps and stuff. It was really fun. That was a fun revision. They did really really well. That one actually. They usually do, but and there was a further. There was more. There was something else I hid. Was that the one? This had better be the one, because otherwise I'm out of things. Here we go. Yeah, there we go. This is the room where I had even more collectible heads, and then I had down here, which I hadn't actually built something yet. That opens up into that other room. Okay, stop it. That opens up back into here so you can get out easily, but I hadn't actually built anything out of that. And yeah. But I often put little secret things in all my houses like that. It's just fun. It makes like, oh, maybe someone will explore it someday when they load up the old world. And then that'd be neat. And that's basically been my idea for this entire map. That's been my inspiration. Give me a sec. I'm gonna Here's the minimap options. Okay, it's you. Okay, I'm gonna clear these. And so that's gonna look nicer. So here, play Pikmin on the GameCube. I totally would. I haven't actually played either of the Pikmin GameCube games. I've only played the Wii U one, but I love that one so much that like I just instantly became a fan of the entire franchise. And also they're so cute. Well, this was the outside of the house. I made a little spot here with a bench and stuff, kind of low-key inspired by Life is Strange. I thought it was a cute little cliff like that, but there's not going to be any storms there. This is the farm. I've made it into a layered farm, so that kind of has descending levels here. Oh, I will play the first two Pikmins at some point. I've got to actually find copies of them first, or get an emulator. I feel like an emulator might be better because, like, I've been told the joystick controls are miserable. Um, and I didn't even need to be told that. I just kind of like assumed that already. This is the castle that I worked on in the same revision. Oh, I love you too, Janet. Bye. Sweet Janet. I love her so much. Yeah, so this is the castle I worked on in the same revision. It was actually kind of close. If we go by the position of this house, the castle was actually over there, but I edited it here because there's empty space and it fit well. And the second bridge I'm going to make over here will be a convenient way to access it. It's still very much a work in progress. It's got the blue butterfly. I'm probably going to change that into something that will make more sense for the map individually as its own thing. The castle is going to be going through the whole mountain. If I want to leave it clearly a mountain, I worked on smoothing this out, but I still have to make it look natural here. And down here is the actual edge of the island where I have to do a lot of smoothing out to make it look nice. But eventually, basically all the lower parts where there's kind of like the brown clay, I'm gonna get rid of that. It's the hilly regions I'm gonna be keeping a hold of. And up here, so up here, I think I'm gonna leave this kind of natural forest in here, because it's just a little bit of the map. But over here, I've actually marked. Look like the bisexual colors. Cool. I've marked right here is I'm gonna make a multi-tier mine going all the way down to water level, to sea level. And that path going up here, maybe some houses in throughout here. But a lot of it is going to stay quite nature-like. I really love the trees and the forest kind of style. So, leaving the house, which also has an entrance down here too. So here's where the schematic actually ended. I cut off. It actually was quite smooth onto here. Over here is a house that I actually made on a single player world that I spent a lot of time playing on. Yeah, it's going to be pretty open world. It's going to be a big island. The island's pretty much like roughly cut out and stuff. Um, it just needs some smoothing out so that it actually like blends into the ocean surrounding it, and so it has a nice natural shape. But it's pretty nice. Yeah, so it'll be good like that. This is a house from Single Player World, like I was saying, that I played on with my dad and my sister a lot. We made it like a whole like, oh my god, so much stuff, like a whole modern city. That was really cool. That was mostly my dad. Um, I actually imported a few houses from that world because it was like maybe 2 years on and off playing on it, building in different areas. There was tons of different areas from it, but yeah, basically, so that's just an empty chest. There's a little library down here, and you can see out. Nope, I did not mean to do that. I did not mean to place a redstone torch. That. No, stop. That was supposed to close the door? I don't know. I will fix it. And then there's a little garden down here with a nice view. That's the main island where most of the stuff happens. The goal of the map is going to be to basically collect a bunch of items that are hidden throughout the world. Unique items. I literally have them. This is subject to change, but a bunch of discs, basically, and they're going to be hidden in different spots, and I'm going to be leaving clues in the form of either structures that will lead you to it, or mostly books that will consist of like historical entries, like history of the area, diaries, notes left behind by the people who have disappeared. It's going to be basically an empty place. I'm still figuring out how to make it so that it will be free of mobs as well, because I don't want any creatures wandering around. I want it to feel like almost eerie, kind of. Um, Down here, I'm gonna do that. Down here, we have what I actually started on this very recently. Um, it's a it's a big like multi-tier platform with a lot of housing, but also like it's gonna be mainly uh, shipping port kind of area. Down at the bottom here, we've got a basic port. Oh yeah, super hostile maps. Those are cool. But yeah, it's gonna be like that, except for I don't actually want it to have um any like danger to it. Besides, like if you fall off a cliff, you're gonna die. Um, but it's mostly gonna be exploring the environment and trying to be able to follow clues and find secret spots. Um, Here's the basic level where like shipments will come in. There's a house there that I've yet to build. Little deck here that will have a little uh, house built into the wall. Up here's the next level, where it'll be more kind of, I don't know, business, I'm guessing. Um, is what I'm planning on. There's like a little kitchen area in here, and garden leading to a storage area here where an item will be hidden. Not one of the collectible items, but one that you can use, um, like to reach a certain area. Thank you. Yeah, I put a lot of thought into it. It started out the entire area here was started as it was for revision 22 of that server that I was talking about. And I was kind of building that kind of nice area that was pretty and nice to explore, not really think about what the purpose of it was going to be, because I normally just like building. But instead it kind of turned into, oh, I can make this into a map. And so I took out that area from the server map after that revision ended, and they put put it up to download for anyone who wanted like to explore it or like revisit it or whatever. So I took my area and I've been building more onto it. Actually, very little, relatively little, of what is built here was actually built on the server, but actually after. Um, a lot of things like that house there and this house here were actually imported from other worlds or other revisions of the server. Um, yeah, I didn't even go upstairs. Heck, there's not much upstairs though. It's just yeah, a little cactus. Yee. I believe I made one of the houses um, gardener. I'm not sure if I made it specific to mushrooms. This is the main view right here. Most of this um, was made on the server before I actually consider putting it into a map. Everything down here, down that little inset cliff, was done in survival. besides this house. Everything here was done in survival. In here has been edited in creative, make it a bit more natural. I go E? Do I do that? If I do that, I don't even notice. Piggy. But I've added this, like this house. I've terraformed this area a bit since bringing it in, but this inset area is all survival, and that took a while. All the castle here, you can actually walk all the way up it right from the little dock here. This actually was originally a railway, either going to thanks. Well, I don't know what thanks, but yeah, that's sweet of you to say. Yeah, I like the cactus. They're cute in this. But yeah, this was a railway going to one of the other cities slash builds in the server, and another rail going up to the top, kind of a scenic route. But it's better to take your time and appreciate it, I find. You see a lot more walking up than you do otherwise. That little house is pretty recent there. This waterfall is one of my favorites. And it goes all the way down. Here is the main tower. It has several floors like this, spiraling up. It's not much of a sight to see. So I'm gonna take the nature route, going up here. The tower continues up through all the different levels, almost up to the very top. And most of the map making was inspired by kind of making natural looking caves like this. I will come back to this area later. Oh, crap. But up here is one of the first paths I built. It was I actually made most of this cave by hand, I think. Over here there's a little relaxing spot. Some nice flowers. I've been saving it for something. I don't know what I'm going to do there. There's the waterfall. It actually spreads down into there, into a smaller little area. And there's the railway you can see actually goes over that cave. There's the tower again. It's a bit open there. And this is the top of the tower. You can see the bridge going over there. That's actually one of the triplet bridges. Because there's 3 exact copies of them that go in a row. You'll see that later. So that was not intentional, I promise. You can see we've come up all that way. Up there, there's the tower. And in here is another cave. One that I actually put a lot of time into, making it look nice. The railway goes up there, through there, and in through a smaller cave up to ground level. But down here it's just mostly a nice little serene kind of river. The water falls down here, and eventually I'm gonna make it go all the way. Water stops there, that's weird. All the way out, and the water will come out here and spill out as another waterfall. Thank you. The aesthetic is something I've worked on a lot. It's kind of like what I naturally go to when I'm building. I really like making very natural kind of areas. If you follow the rail actually here, so it goes through a small cave here. If you come through here, so that's where we're looking up from before. It comes up here and follows up here all the way up here and kind of follows a track above there, and then a smaller cave here, and then it heads towards the station. But here I'm working on actually integrating this cave, integrating it into the cave here, so you'll actually see it beneath the tree roots. They're actually not that difficult to make, the natural areas. I really, like, they come kind of, pun intended, naturally. Um, they're just kind of my building style. They can get tedious sometimes, but I think most building styles can. So here's the main area. This is the rail station where you appear when you come up the rail. That's valid. I find it really hard to make like really nice, consistent structures. I have trouble making things. Yeah, I'm not good at making things uniform. I like making things have a consistent theme, but not actually making them perfectly consistent. I'm pretty bad at that, ironically. So even though I'm like all about symmetry and like my OCD and up there you can see my house that I actually worked from in the revision that this map was originating in. That house actually has a fair amount of detail, though I need to rework some of it. It was actually built for me and two others, the people I was in a poly relationship. First time I was in a poly relationship. But they actually stopped playing pretty quickly, and I just kept playing. And yeah, it became my thing. They helped a bit at first. The bridge over here was Matt made this bridge up here, and I made it a lot nicer and duplicated it twice. What's up here? Up here is one of the twin houses. It's got a blue bed. I try to make the beds diverse. Down here you can see, down there, is a house that's actually got the exact same build, except for the interior is a bit different. And the blocks used to make it are different, but the structure and style is the exact same. Going down here, yes, this is the alchemist's house. Yeah, I don't think there's actually anything stored in here, but there is an exit here to under the bridge, and you can actually walk across the bottom of the bridge, get to the other side, but there isn't actually anything there. I may put a secret there at some point. But yeah, the house is twins with that one over there. And if you exit out this way, there's a nice little garden to be area that I've done a lot of terraforming work on. I built this platform that lets you kind of walk down it more naturally. So it's not so much of a just jump between levels, I suppose. That deceivingly goes nowhere. It's just a little spiral. And this takes us back to the main area, relatively. This is kind of, this path goes in a circle around the whole area. This goes to the blacksmith's house, which I will show you in a minute. It goes around in a rough circle and circles back to my house. This is the blacksmith's house. This area where the blacksmith house was a total wreck from being griefed. I still don't know who did it, and I had to actually fix it myself because I was gone for so many months that they couldn't backdate it and make it back like it was. Just got little flowers there. I'm going to show the upstairs. This was a bit tricky to make because I really liked having this spot here, but I also had to make it work with the roof. Here's the upstairs. It's pretty plain. Why does that skull not have eyes? They usually have eyes. I like that better actually because it looks more natural. And chests are still pretty much empty because that's where I'm working on making, like where I'm going to be using them to put items in. I haven't actually started placing the items yet. I've started determining where they're going to be in some cases, but not actually placing them. Hold up. Downstairs actually in this house was one of my favorites. Down here, here's the actual smithy. I've got some armor. That's empty as well. But here's the actual forge. And this burned down. I forgot to, when I moved it over, set the game rule. Game rule to fire tick false. There. And I will fix that later, I suppose. You'll be hearing a lot of that. And this heads back out to the cave down here. Yeah, the skulls with eyes are scary, but I'm used to them, so it almost like weirded me out that they weren't there. I want to hug you too. Why can't I? Get over here. On here, that's a cave that leads to a labyrinth, which it's actually miserable. I made it really hard to navigate, but at the end will be one of the discs. You're on your way? Should I pause the stream? Because, like, it might be tricky to watch and walk over here. And I can appreciate the difficulty of that. It's a lot of work. Ooh, what if we held hands in the Minecraft stream? Blushes. Down here, I've worked on this area a bit. This is a cliff here. It's pretty bland. I've made a path going up that way a bit, but most of the mountainside overall is pretty plain. And that cave actually leads down to here as well, through there. And this has yet to be, like, I haven't done anything with it yet. It's got monster spawner. The monster spawners appear some places through the map. That was a natural generation thing for the server. I haven't deleted any of the spawners because why not? I don't know. Through here. This goes up here, and this is the current grand tree. It's pretty sizable compared to the rest of the other trees and has its own little area built in here. If you can actually go in it. Not sure. It's kind of like a 3D maze in a way, because you can move up and down as well to navigate it. So here, you can move up, there, yeah. And up here, this is where we can hold hands in a tree, like Alex said. Thought it was just a cute little hideaway there, and it's kind of miserable to find your way out of because of all the vines, but that's kind of the point. There. Nope, that's the wrong way. Here we go. Here we go. Yeah, so that's the big tree there. Ooh, indeed. This is where the maze is, the labyrinth I kind of told you about. It's kind of natural themed as well, but it's very cramped. And this house is the exit. There's going to be an iron door, so you can only leave it, not enter it. Um, but it's going to be the exit for the maze. And it's going to have, which disc? Disc of Darkness. No, I think I'm going to change that. Cold, light, and earth. I'm going to replace it with Disc of Earth. Because Darkness, I have a better spot for that. Disc of Maze. No. There's a worse maze hidden away here that I'm not even going to show you because it's hidden to get to it, and the maze itself is hell. And that's where the uh, Disc of Madness is going to be. And that also I actually... No, it will have the Disc of Madness, yeah. But that maze is absolutely hellish. It's miserable. I made it to be bad. And I think I'll make that be an extra, so you don't actually have to get it, but you can go find it and get the Disc of Madness. And it will unlock like some new secret or something, like bonus ending. I don't know. But yeah, it'll be way out of the way. Difficult to find. Yeah. You'll hate it if you try it, but that's kind of the beauty of it. It's horrible, and it also actually in itself is a massive reference to my first revision on the Reddit server, where they had this horrible city that was basically just like, it was just this zone where the mods made where you could build whatever. There were no protections. There was no like, oh, this is my land claim or this is my house. No, people could just build whatever, set shit on fire. There was lava all over the place, and most of the structures were made of melon blocks, and it was dubbed Molonville. And the mods learned from that revision to not ever do that again. Ever. But the maze isn't entirely a reference to that city. There's some more paths over here. That's going to lead to some of the more like natural kind of hard to navigate caverns. Here, let's see. Oh yeah, let's show down here. So this river streams down from the labyrinth, the basic labyrinth. And there's a river going down here. Here's the well. That actually is right next to the blacksmith. I'll show you, but that's the well. It collects from this river. There's a little hollow area in here, which I might do something with. And the river actually turns into the waterfall down here. So I've tried to make it all really interconnected, which is I've really enjoyed actually. Like there's been a lot of points where I've made a waypoint so that I can see where something is relative to something else and try to figure out if I can connect that in a nice way. Thank you. I work really hard on it. I have been for a while. Oh yeah, here's the well. See, there's the blacksmith house. There's the well. It won't actually have a functioning thing that comes up, but Dark Souls, yeah. From I've watched H Bomber Guy's video on I said what was it? About speedrunning being amazing, and I got the impression kind of from the Dark Souls um, mentions in it that the world was kind of sprawling but also like really interconnected and a lot of ways to go through it. Um, and that's also something I got from Skyward Sword that I really liked. I want to do it on a bigger scale, kind of, than in Scoured Sword. But Scoured Sword did it really well. I think they made a lot of content in a small space, but I want to do that scale, but in a bigger space. So that's what I've been doing here. Over here, that may look like stairs at first. It actually isn't. It's a roof. There's a little hut here, which actually I did give to someone, but they didn't stay. They kind of disappeared. What the hell happened there? They seem nice. I don't know. Yeah, the verticality, I really wanted to work with that. That's actually what I first thought of when I found this area at the start of the revision. I thought, oh, this could make for some really interesting vertical build to it. That leads to another cave. Did I actually smooth this out? Oh yeah, I did. Yeah, it's quite lovely down here. I love this. I worked for a while on it. I put tulips that are, which don't show up many other places at all. This is just a really nice big cave, which is going to have one of the discs hidden in it. But it's kind of a nice big continuous one. Let's see. Down here, this kind of connects to a bunch of stuff. Where's that go? Where's this go? This goes down here. So you should be able to recognize here is right in there. There's the tower, there's that entrance there. And that's the pool that I showed you. And that's the next tier level of it. There's a little bench, and the waterfall actually falls down into there and goes through there. Falling through here, into there. And this goes over it and leads you over here. This is the big bridge. I'm planning on making another one that will be its twin. And it goes over here, leads to that platform, and this little area in here. But essentially, it's one of the few places where you can cross from one island to the other, because it is technically two islands. But they're so similar and so close that like I talk about it as if it's one, but they're each going to have individual names. I still have to name them. Then here's this continuation kind of the castle theme. There's a waterfall going down there, and it goes here. I'll show you in just a minute. Here's an area that was originally a farm, but I reworked it. Yeah, I love the weather. I love the weather, especially in the shaders. I don't usually build with the shaders. This is mostly to kind of make it look prettier for this. Here is the house of, what's supposed to be like a paranoid kind of person who is planning to like take over the whole area. I haven't decided quite what I'm going to do with it. No, not like you. You have paranoia that's worried about people being out to get you. This person is more like kind of paranoia you'd find on Wall Street, you know, trying to find how to manipulate everything to get you on top, and assuming that that's what everybody else is trying to do as well. So you have to be vicious, even though people are actually not that bad. There's a little prison cell in there. It's not super pleasant. It's got a little plant though. And that comes back out here. It does have another exit into the tunnels, into the caves, over here. And that brings us back to here. And again, we can go down here, but take a different route instead. I go up this way, and I do believe... Oh yeah, it comes out here. No, yeah, I totally mixed that up with another area. It's funny, I actually get lost myself sometimes, because it's so intertwined. Back up here. Let's see. Oh yeah. So, back here, we started off, we went here and we went down there, right? So here, that's the lower entrance to my house. There's a little bridge going over there. This used to be a sheep farm, but like I said, I'm getting rid of mobs, making it kind of more eerie. Up here is the proper entrance to my house for that revision, and it was probably one of my favorite houses. Oh yeah, my bird! It's my bird! I want my bird. I'm not good at doing that impression, but I love him. I love this little bird. And there was another bird that I found them both on an expedition in that revision, and one of them died, unfortunately. I got his feathers. But he was a sweet boy, and he had a good life. Over there, that's the smelting room. Up here, we have the bedroom, which is being reworked, because I made an entrance there. Yeah, it's sad, but he lives on in spirit, the little bird. This has a bunch of collectible stuff from that revision. And a set of each of the glazed terracottas, because originally when I was working on it in survival, I was planning on hiding one of each of the terracottas, a full 4 blocks of the pattern, in the different places, and you have to find them. But that did not turn out to be what I wanted to do in the end. Enchanting, I didn't do much with the upstairs. Then if you go down the spiral stairs, you'll reach the storage room, which I am going to revamp so it is more of a nice like living space rather than it actually being like the practical Minecraft space. And disco power, oh yeah, I'm gonna hide that in there, don't tell anyone. Heck, I might actually have to move it now. I don't know, I'll figure it out. I will figure it out. And down here I'm gonna connect that to somewhere eventually. But yeah, that's the house. I really like the house. I spent a good amount of time working on it. And this new exit is pretty nice. I like that as an addition. So let's go back over here. So there's the twin house. This is the first of the triplet bridges. Got awful memory? Me too, honestly. I remember the stuff that isn't important. That is not important. But I will forget the stuff that is important. So that's the first triplet bridge. And there's the second one here. Just passes by my house. And underneath it I actually hid something, I do believe. But I'm not going to go look at it. I start to look at. This is a bit of a natural area. There's a bunch of caves also going underneath the bridge. Through here, there's a stairway leading up to the inner part of the bridge. That's a nice view of the other island. And over here is one of my favorite houses, actually. And it does have a pretty well hidden secret, which I really like. That's got a staircase up there. It's got a nice view. And up here, nice bedroom. And down here is a little, what's going to be a workshop, I think. A lot of the nitty-gritty is yet to be resolved, you know? Down here, what we've got, that heads back down there. And down here, ooh, this is nice. This was, ooh, I watch stuff typically or listen to music while I'm working on areas. This cave right here is what I was working on when I watched Philosophy Tube's video on mental health and suicide. So it kind of reminds me of that. It was a really good video, I think, and it was a really strong video. It's a good thing that he did that, but it's kind of sweet connection that I have there to that particular video. Like the latest area I'm working on is all about, is all connected to Mindhunter. Jesus. That's a river going from a overflowed cave, and down here, that leads down there too. This is actually all down to this kind of more muddy cave. That doesn't really have anything yet. It might not, because like some of the areas are just going to be there, you know? Not everything is going to have to be something special to find, because it's such a deep map. I want it to be, you're not always guaranteed to find something interesting, but you're always guaranteed to find something worth looking at. Here's a bit of a mazy spot with platforms. This house right here has 3 levels. It's pretty whack. Let's see. Yep, down here. It has a porch out here. And then you go down here. There's another porch here. And the base floor, which has an exit out here. You can see the first porch there, or the last porch there. And it has a path going down to there. Another one goes there to that house. That house doesn't actually have an entrance yet. So far what I'm planning to do is make it a difficult to find entrance. And you kind of wind up in the house. You don't go purposely to enter it. You wind up there. What else? What else? Oh yeah. Yeah. So going up here, this is a really nice cave that I did. I actually did the entire structure up top. This was the ground before. Thank you. Yeah, I've been working on it so long and I put so much detail into it. I've been on and off working on it, but consistently the same amount of detail. And yeah, I love this cave. I did all the structure up there. It was kind of tedious as hell. I sure hope I can curse on here. And this goes to another house from that single player world I mentioned. Up here. Up here I have, oh, this was a wool from my sister's favorite sheep in that world. I found it quite special. His name was Larry. In there I had a pet chicken. I gave him some flowers and some grass. I thought it was cute to have him there, but he didn't get carried over, unfortunately. Lots of storage. Nice bed here. Room for 2. Oh, don't tell the YouTube mods, I'll get banned. Please. Maybe if I say something anti-Semitic, they'll come to defend me instead. Um. Oh, room for two. Oh yeah, definitely. It's a little storage room. Thank you for not telling the mods. And this is the top of that cave, actually, right here. It's pretty plain. I just made it basically to hide the cave. And that's that house. That's one of my favorite houses that I've actually um, made for myself to live in and work out of. It was really nice. And there's a little wheat farm here, kind of in between the second and third bridges. This is the big river. It starts in multiple places. The water physics of it kind of rely on not questioning it. I might make it into a plot point like it's magic. I don't know. But it pours out of there, streams down there, and down here, down here, down here, and eventually will stream down there and go into a waterfall. Huge waterfall going off the edge. But it also comes from here, along this little house, which I made, that I really love. I just made it like yesterday or the day before. It's kind of like a researcher's house. Got knives in there. It's pretty sketchy. He's got kind of all sorts of like research stuff. Wizard water. It's wizard water. Talking about the water here? Oh, you were talking about the water physics. Oh my god, I'm so dumb. Okay, so there's a little fishing spot here. The river also comes from up here, and this was my build for revision 18. It was building onto this huge mountain, this massive ass tree, which I never finished. I got pretty far with the trunk. I did pretty good, um, but it needs work. I'm gonna make more roots. But basically, if you start from the top here, and there's also river running down it, but I need to fix that. If you go down here, there's a whole path going all the way down the mountain. Most of the path going through the inside of the mountain, but there's lots of plant life in here, all growing through it. And I've made the lanterns. They I'm kind of leaving it up to interpretation whether they're growing out of the trees or whether um, they hang from they've been hung on the trees made by the people. This is all lake in the shape of a heart. I made that. It's very nice. And down here is where the river flows. And it flows down there. Right here I've been doing a lot of terraforming. It's still very much a work in progress, but it's made a lot of progress. And then my house is over here. This is the house made... Oh god, the paintings disappeared. Of course. This house I made a lot of secret things in. There are paintings covering this and this as well. If you hit the button, it opens up, and this is all my storage. I made it kind of... What? Where is the book? Okay. All the empty spaces in the walls are chests, but I've gotten rid of them. Most of them. But unfortunately this is going to be deleted, the storage area. I really love it. It's one of my favorite storage areas I've ever made, but it doesn't really make sense to have it in this. It's also here the ventilation for the furnaces, and then the bed's disappeared here. I'm gonna have to fix that, but also room for two. It's a double bed. I usually do a double bed. Um, Thanks. I worked a fair bit on it. Um, what I might do is instead use that kind of design for something else on the map. But as a storage area, it doesn't make sense because you're not going to need storage area in this. It's not going to make sense, especially not with that cramped of an area to open chests, you know? But I may use that same kind of style structure because I really do like it. I really like it. Um, yeah. What else is there? Yeah. I don't know what else there is. Most of the rest of the island is not really done anything with yet. I haven't done much with it. Some terraforming, some changing gravel and stone into grass to make it look a little bit more lively, like here. This used to be all stone. I put a path through. This path is going to be, so there's going to be a few more houses here, but that's going to be the end of the residential area. All this is the residential area. But here, it's going to turn into something else. You're going to be more into nature. That's going to be a nice hill over there. But you get more into nature here. The path continues along here, I just haven't completed it. And here, there'll be some caves to explore, but less. The path splits into two. Over here is the graveyard. Here, there's only light from the lamps. The lanterns from the trees are not here because it's a graveyard. I've yet to add most of the details. It's mostly the layout for now, and I am going to make a tomb, I believe. I might make catacombs beneath the castle I showed at the beginning too. But yeah, graveyard here, and there's going to be... My intent is to make over here a big statue on the cliff here. Make stairs coming all the way up, better than those ones, because you're gonna need at least a few spots where you can climb back up effectively, because otherwise, if you fall off into the ocean, you're just screwed. You need to be able to climb back up. So there's going to need to be at least, like, say 5 different spots where there's stairs going all the way up. One of which is already done, and I showed you, starting at the start where I started building. Yeah, the graveyard doesn't have much to it yet, but yeah, it's going to have a tomb that will have one of the discs hidden in it. And through here, this is a longer trek, but you can already see the structure in the distance. I've laid out where the path is going to be laid. And I was working on terraforming this while I was waiting for people to join. This is going to be the end game for the map. This is going to be the last area that you'll be able to access. There'll be a lot of items that you'll need in order to actually successfully get through this temple dungeon. It's roughly circular. It's got a garden area inside of it. I'm still working on smoothing out the territory around it. This was a project that I started a while ago, abandoned, and then brought in here to be the most important part of the map, I think. Essentially, it's inspired by a temple from Legend of Zelda, the water temple in not in Ocarina of Time, but in Twilight Princess. And that it has a main room with multiple levels, and you can only get to certain doors from certain parts. So, let's start with the upstairs. So, at the corner of the rooms, there's vines that you can climb to get to the different rooms. This is the first floor up. Oh, how am I going to make it so you need items? I'm going to say using resistance potions, certain armors that you'll need to get through somewhere without dying. Feather falling boots might be one, where you need them to be able to fall a certain distance without dying, or fire resistance armor or potion, or maybe a speed potion so that you can actually make it through somewhere before the environment will kill you. All sorts of stuff like that, which I think will be really interesting, and you'll have to learn sort of to recognize when you need to use them, because there will only be so many. Yeah, exactly. Here, so this floor is pretty boring. When I first made this temple, it was intended to be a one you have to fight through, but I don't want that anymore. This pathway is kind of ruined like that. So instead it's going to be about getting the right items so that you can make it to the end. Up here, there's not much here either, but there's space to do something if I want to. Then, for God's sake, where's the... There's the stairs for that. Where... It's over there. It's over there. How do I get there? Because I'm pretty sure I made it so that you can get up there. Nope, I didn't, but I will. Basically, one of the final parts of the game will be you'll be able to make it up here, and you'll have to jump down here. It's just enough room for you to make it, so you drop all the way down. Whether you'll need a fire potion or fall resistance, or if there'll just be water to keep you safe at the bottom, I've yet to decide. But I thought it would be interesting to make that fall. So, that's the upper floors. The lower floors are a bit more scary, intimidating, and difficult to navigate so far. The upper levels might also get that way. Each direction has a different terracotta block telling you which direction that is, which side of the temple, and there's going to be different rooms that you have to navigate through to find your way through this labyrinth of a dungeon. And there will be puzzles as well that you will have to solve, doors to open. And once you get to the final bottom level, you're going to reach here, and you're going to see this evil thing here. You're going to be able to collect an item here, one of the discs most likely, but the main thing is you'll make it so that you can drop down and and actually make it to the next area, which will be the final area of the game most likely. So you have to come down here and then make it up to the top with all the items you need in order to complete the game. There's also caves surrounding this area. They're going to be a bit more lit up, probably. It'll be neat to explore, but you won't actually be able to directly enter the temple from the caves. You'll be able to see the caves from the temple and see the inner temple from the caves, but you won't be able to go each. Yeah, that's the endgame thing. You go into the evil thing, and there you have to do something to resolve whatever has made this land empty, because there's nobody here. why is there nobody here, right? It's all sprouting from there. Not all of it, but mainly that's where it's coming from. So that's basically the map. It's still very much a work in progress. There's bits I need to smooth out, um, both gameplay-wise and actual terrain-wise. I need to smooth it out so it actually looks natural. I still have to do that mine, I have to finish the castle, I have to finish some caves still, and I have to do that big tree, because it is still going to have the top with all the leaves and stuff. Yeah. But it's pretty good, and I feel really happy with what I've been able to accomplish. It's pretty cool. Oh yeah, and I'm gonna duplicate that bridge, make it have a twin there, so there'll be twin bridges and triplet bridges. And I believe over here I made a path. Where does the thing come up here? Where does it come? There we go. Yeah, it comes from down here. Yeah. Yeah. But that's the map so far. Thank you. I love it too, honestly. I would update it, but a lot of things to do with water physics or general physics of the game are broken in 1.13. Like, you could swim through here. You're not supposed to be able to escape from here or enter from here. A lot of stuff like that would have to be reworked because of the water physics and the new differences in movement. I may yet, but I don't think it's worthwhile. So I think it's going to stay on 1.12.2. And the plan is to strongly recommend using this texture pack because it will make it look much better and also make a lot of the structures seem more consistent. Rather than, like, why would you use those blocks together? Well, I would use them together because in this texture pack they look similar and go well together. So I think that's it. Thank you for watching. I'm glad it was, like, interesting. Yeah. All sorts of hidden stuff. I absolutely love what I've built. I'm building more all the time. Mostly at this point, it's terraforming, making the land look natural, making it all fit together nicely, because a lot of structures were imported from their other worlds, so you have to make sure that they play nice at the borders between them. You have to make it look natural, like a, yeah. I'm glad you loved it. Yeah. Yeah. It's full of secrets. That's what I really love about it. I love making it so there's so much to explore. And not all of it, like, gets you closer to winning, but all of it makes it more fun, more interesting. Yeah. My God, I've gotta watch your, uh, no, I've gotta play your Mario Maker levels at some point. I really do. I've only started up Mario Maker once, but I'm gonna love your levels. Even if I hate them, I'm gonna love them. Can't wait till this map is done and I can let y'all play it. I'm glad Janet tuned in for a little bit. That was nice. Right. Heck, I don't even know what to do now. Open world Mario levels? Oh, I can see people not liking that. That kind of goes against the how, like, what the game is made to be. But also, I really appreciate taking a format that's meant for one specific thing and just doing something completely fucking different with it. Just because you want to. like it really tests the limits of what programs and systems will do, right? When you don't operate how they expect, what you can do to bend their functions. I love things in your head. You're adorable. You're a good egg. I think I'm probably gonna shut the stream down. Um, but I'll probably make it listed on my channel so that anybody can go back and watch it. So it'll be there if that's alright with you. Do you have any other questions about the map or anything? Or like, this would be the place to put them, but I'm glad it was fun watching. Okay, but you're alright with me leaving this listed? Like leaving the video listed on YouTube. Thanks. I would argue with you on that, but thank you. Yeah, I'll leave it listed then. If you join the voice channel once I'm done streaming, I can say goodbye, but I'm just gonna wrap up the stream now.